the best class setups of Battlefield 5. Now today we're going to talk about class setups. So this means what gadgets, what grenades, what sidearms, for example, you should use for each class. Now this may sound like a basic topic because when it comes to classes on Battlefield, there's really not much. On Call of Duty, for example, you have perks, you have a lot more stuff. On Battlefield, it's a more basic approach, but it's still extremely important, especially on a game like Battlefield 5, because there's very little balance between the choices you have. So that basically means that there are metas for each class, sadly. And that does have a negative effect. That basically doesn't give you enough choices, or even choices, because there's literally metas, just one choice that's better than all the other choices. So, yes, I mean, you can choose to use something else, but there is always a meta here, which is sad, once again. Now, I understand that this is an old game, and the majority of you probably already know about the stuff I'm gonna talk about today, but the main reason why I'm doing this, it's because of the failure of 2042. Since 2042 released and failed, more people have been playing older Battlefield games, especially Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 is the most populated Battlefield now. And I'm assuming there's new people coming to BF5. So yeah, that's basically the main reason why I am making this video. And let me know in the comments below if you are new to Battlefield 5, if you just bought it, if you just got into it. I think Battlefield 5 is actually on EA Play now. 2042 will also be on EA Play on May the 6th, I think. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. That's just pure speculation. Which is sad to see, but it is what it is. The game failed. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you are new to Battlefield 5. Alright, now we are in the game and let's start with the Assault class. So, when it comes to the combat role for each class on Battlefield 5, it's actually quite easy. I don't need to explain, you guys can read what it is, but a brief example here, light infantry is by far the best. It's focused on the soldier itself, on your own ability, on the infantry side of things, and Vehicle Buster is focused on vehicles, on destroying vehicles. Now on this one, Field Medic and Combat Medic. Field Medic is the best. Now Combat Medic isn't bad. These two here are not bad, but these two are better, right? But again, it depends the way you play here, but in general, in overall, Field of Medic is much better. No need to explain it. Here is the exact same thing of the Assault class. Machine Gunner is your own ability as a soldier, your infantry side of things, and Engineer is more about vehicles. In this case, it's not exactly vehicles, but it's part of vehicles. So Machine Gunner for the support class is the best option. Now let's talk about the Recon class, which is the most interesting. Now both of these are good, and to be honest with you, this really depends the way you play or the way you want to play. But in general, Pathfinder is a much better choice, simply because Pathfinder is more focused on your positioning, in this case through the spawn beacon. And positioning when you're sniping is basically the most important thing. I mean, of course you gotta hit your shots, and Sniper does help you a little bit on that, but Pathfinder in general, I'd say it's much better. Okay, now we're back to the Assault class, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the sidearm you should use, basically the best sidearms, and the melee. Now let's start with the melee. First off, I recommend you to use a heavy melee, but it's all about personal preference. When it comes to melee balance, if that makes sense, when it comes to melee balance on Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, it's basically the same system. It's balanced, so here you can really choose whatever you want, whatever you feel like. Now when it comes to the sidearm, I will say that Model 27 and the MKVI revolver are the two best sidearms in the game. Now, the third I would say is the M1911. I recommend you to use the Suppressed because the Suppressed It's basically the M1911 with a suppressor, and it doesn't have any downside. So this one is technically useless. So you have these three here: M1911 suppressor, Model 27, and MKVR revolver. I'd say these three are the best. But again, when it comes to pistols, they're not so much balanced, but in general they are quite balanced. But those three that I just mentioned are the best. Now this is a very, I want to talk about the well rod, because the well rod, it's, in my opinion, the most powerful pistol in the game, but it's also the most difficult pistol to use. So this one is kind of like a one of a kind, a mystery, if that makes sense. But if you want to try use it, I wish you good luck. But if you hear your shots, this thing is insane, no joke. Okay, so now that we got the sidearm and the melee out of the way, let's start and let's talk about the grenades for this assault class. Alright, now we are on the grenade side of things, and let's talk about the best grenades. And fun fact, it's the bolt on the top, the incendiary grenade and the frag grenade. The rest, I'd say they're all useless, especially this one. I don't recommend you to use this one, don't use it. But yeah, the rest is really useless. I don't recommend you to use them. So it's really all about the top. And when it comes to the top, the grenade, the frag grenade, it's more about making damage to the enemy and potentially even kill the enemy or enemies. And the incendiary grenade, which is the one I use, it's for a more tactical approach. I'd say the main ability of the incendiary grenade is to block areas and really control areas of the map. And if an enemy runs through it, you know he's there. And this is really good for close combat maps. Close quarter combat, is that how you say it? My brain just melted, sorry. But this is good for close combat infantry maps. Okay. But yeah, on the grenade side of thing, on the assault class, I definitely recommend one of these two. Now let's talk about the gadgets, and this is gonna be real quick. When it comes to the launchers, it's either the M1A1 bazooka or Piat, but the Piat in general is the king here, by far. So I definitely recommend you to just use the Piat. And here is really the same. Sticky dynamite is the best by far. I mean, you can use this one, but it's very situational. So yeah, in general, the sticky dynamite in overall is really the best, objectively the best. Okay, now let's go to the medic class, and let's talk about the grenades. And the first thing I want to say is that the smoke grenade is the best grenade in the game. And if you see here, I actually also have the smoke grenade rifle on my second gadget. And you only have two choices here, and the AP mine is useless in my opinion in terms of gameplay. It's useless, don't use it. So the choice here is obvious, smoke grenade rifle. Here it's personal preference, to be honest. They both work. Now, on the support is a different story. I will get into that in a second. But I was saying that I was talking about the smoke grenade being the best, and since it's the best, and this also helps the medic class to be the best class in the game, which it is. It has the best weapons. You can heal yourself. It has smoke, which again is the best grenade, or the best, I'd say, ability, because it's really almost like an ability. So on the grenade side of things, I recommend between these three, but I honestly, I beg you to use the smoke grenade because it's the best. I use it all the time, and it's just amazing. In terms of gameplay, is really the best. Now let's talk about the support class, and let's start with this. Now on the medic class, the pouch and the crate are both balanced. Here they're not, okay? So the ammo crate is the best option without a doubt, because the ammo crate gives you gadget ammo and weapon ammo, and the ammo pouch only gives you weapon ammo. So the choice here is obvious. I'm not gonna get into examples. The choice here is obvious. If you're gonna use a support class, ammo crate is the best choice. Now here, I'd say here the two choices you're looking for are this one, I can't really pronounce that, and the AT grenade rifle. Now I want to talk a little bit about the lunge mine because the lunge mine used to be good. Now it's almost like a suicidal thing. It's a more realistic thing, right? You know, the game is casual, so for me, I don't really care, but this thing used to be really, really good if you knew how to properly use it. It's more used on tanks, but you can also kill a bunch of enemies just like that example. But yeah, now it doesn't really work. You lost pretty much half of your health every time you used it. So it's not worth it in my opinion. But it's a fun gadget to play around, right? It's a fun gadget. Okay, so yeah, now let's talk about the grenades. And when it comes to the grenades on the support class, it's all about these three. And it's funny because it's all about the ones on the top, and they're the best. Fun fact. I don't know if DICE did this on purpose, but probably not. It's just a coincidence. But here it's between these three, and honestly, incendiary grenade is the best. These two, they do little damage. They are for very specific situations, but they work, right? So incendiary grenade is really the best choice for the support class. Alright, now let's talk about the last class, my favorite in fact. Even though I do play more time with SMGs and assault rifles, sniping is my kind of thing. It's my main thing. I love getting those one-shot, one-kills. It's just satisfying, especially the headshots. But anyways, let's start with the grenades. So here, the first thing I want to say is that the throwing knife is one of the most broken things in the entire game, believe it or not. I think it shouldn't be in the game. It's just not fair in my opinion. It used to be broken. It's not broken now, but they're really good. They are really good. But anyways, if you're gonna snipe with the bolt action, which is what you should do when you're using the recon class, I suggest you to go with a throwing knife. Now, if you use this weapon or these two, so these three basically, I suggest you to use a smoke grenade, because those weapons are for a more close combat style, and the smoke grenade is perfect for that. So simple. You either use the throwing knife grenade or the smoke grenade. It depends on which weapons you are using. Now here, I suggest you to use a flare gun and the doppel shots if you are playing on Operation Underground. The example is actually on Operation Underground. Fun fact. But yeah, the flare gun is the best. But if you're gonna play on Underground, you can't use the flare gun because it's an underground map. You gotta use the doppel shots. And now here, spawn beacon, without a doubt. I mean, this one is the most obvious of all. These are useless, especially this one, a stupid addition in my opinion, but there we go. We're talking about that, so 2042, hello. But yeah, spawn beacon here is the best choice by far. So yeah, that's it for today. As you can see, there's a lot of balance issues on Battlefield 5. Not only on the classes, but also on the vehicles and the weapons, the primary weapons. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you found this video helpful. I know it's an old game. Most of you probably already knew about this stuff, but you know, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. I also want to apologize for being slow. I'm slow. My brain is slow. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it is what it is. If you're still listening, I love you. Thank you very much for everything, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day or good night. Bye bye.